Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a good one for you tonight. And welcome to the stream. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 action is back once again for our 16th race of the season, and it takes place at the famed Daytona International Speedway for the Pepsi 400. Our summer Daytona night race is upon us. It is the final super speedway race and restricted plate race of the regular season, our second and final trip to Daytona. We'll see if we can see a driver pull off the sweep in this race. Remember, Elliott Sadler's only win this year came in the Daytona 500 at the start of the year. He'll be one to look out for as well as many others. A tight points battle right now, not only where the cut line is, but also for the regular season championship. In the regular season championship, the 200 cars of Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson lead the way, with Jeff Gordon number one right now, and Jimmy Johnson currently sitting only 6 points behind him in second. Heck, Ryan Newman in third is only 65 points off the lead. Top four still within one race worth of points of each other coming into tonight's race. Also, on the cutoff line, big developing story there, as Matt Kenseth is only 12 points now behind Elliott Sadler after Elliott Sadler had blown an engine in last night's race at Infineon Raceway. So again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're about to get into this race here today, and this should be a lot of fun. Jimmy Johnson qualified on the pole by just a couple hundredths of a second over Ryan Newman, and we'll see who will win at the end of the 400 miles and 160 laps. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Daytona under the lights. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream, as well as everybody else making their way down into the chat below. Johnson leading the field through turns 1 and 2 as they get up to speed down the back straightaway. 2 by 2, maybe even 3 wide further back through most of the field as Tony Stewart looks low underneath Ryan Newman. Tried to go down towards that yellow line, but it was Johnson with the block. Newman has a pull on the high side, though, and he's trying to lead lap 1. Like he might have gotten a little bit tight there in the center of the corner, and as they are side by side for the lead, Newman's got about a half a car length out in front. Back to the start-finish line, it'll be Johnson side-drafting his way through by a bumper. Jimmy Johnson will lead lap 1 of the Pepsi 400. Terry Lewis, welcome to the stream. Big block by Johnson getting into turns 1 and 2, back down to the bottom in time on Tony Stewart. Bumpy Daytona International Speedway handling is going to be very crucial in this race. And look how split apart the pack is on the upper right-hand corner of the screen on the track map as well. Not even 2 full laps in. Stewart and Newman still side by side for second. Johnson from the pole leads the first 2 laps. Pack is starting to split up more and more, it looks like. Stewart clears Ryan Newman for second place. Dale Jr. with a run now, looking to the inside of Stewart. Stewart with the block. Now swings back up high to control the outside in front of the 12 of Newman. Johnson trying to take his first points lead of the season in the 16th race of the year tonight. Again, he comes in 6 points behind Jeff Gordon. Already has 5 bonus points to Gordon's 0 to start this race. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 24 car throughout the course of the night. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream as well. We're still holding on to second. Jimmy Johnson, of course, in the lead. Ryan Newman and Dale Jr. have swapped lanes. It was Newman on the high side, Jr. on the inside. Getting into turn 1, it was Jr. who slid up in front of Newman. Newman crossed him over down to the bottom. destroying the Texans in Madden. That seems realistic. Texans do have one win. I'm surprised they won their opening game of the season. I think a lot of other people were surprised too, though. Ryan Newman's worked himself back up to second place. Now that Newman and Jr. are not side by side anymore. Look at Newman get a gigantic run, and he puts himself into the left rear corner panel of Johnson's car, and then into the wall as Jr. skims by to the inside. Ryan Newman came in full send mode off the exit of turn 4. Clipped Jimmy Johnson. Johnson holds on to the lead, and now it's a two-car breakaway in front of the field. We do stay green. Newman pushed way too hard, way too early in the race to try and make the pass under Jimmy Johnson. Almost seemingly going to put the rest of the pack together. Now it's Dale Jr. to the inside of Jimmy Johnson. He's not going to have any help from behind, though. So it's going to be tough for Dale Jr. to try and create that run by himself. I'd have to imagine these two are going to get ran down at some point in time. Yeah, it's crazy that they still have Deshaun Watson. That's just the weird thing to me. It's like, I mean, nobody wants him, as far as trade, but you have to imagine that the Texans are just sitting on Deshaun Watson, so that way, if he does get reinstated by the NFL, somebody's going to want him, and they're going to get good trade bait out of him. Ooh, 38-0. Yeah, that's a beatdown right there. It's almost close to the score that my Packers lost to the Saints on the opening weekend of the year. 38-3. Yeah, pretty easy for Johnson to hold on to the lead there. That was a big mistake by Ryan Newman that really costed a lot of drivers a lot of time, including Newman himself. Johnson's now led the first 8 laps, still caution-free at Daytona, at least in the early going. Likely looking at a 3-pit-stop race tonight, though it could become a fuel strategy race if this super speedway race miraculously goes caution-free. No guarantees that that's going to happen. The big one obviously can strike at any moment. We had a couple big ones in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. Gotta say, though, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. doing pretty well right now. As far as maintaining their gap on the pack, Jr. just got into the wall off the exit of turn 4 that time. Johnson's going to pull him on the front stretch. We know how strong the DEI cars were at this time period of NASCAR, especially Dale Jr. himself. Heck, in the 2004 season in real life, he won the Daytona 500 right here at this racetrack, trying to win the July race on this 2004 season virtually as well. Yeah, they had mentioned in a video before, I don't know exactly what video it was, but I remember NASCAR 21 Ignition had a video a while back, and he teased that that there is only the Cup Series. Whoever the narrator was of that said that it's the Cup Series only in the game. There's no Xfinity or trucks, but don't be surprised to see some of those Xfinity and Truck Series drivers throughout your career mode. So that tells me, just from that video alone, that, you know, you're going to see some younger Xfinity drivers moving their way up as you go multiple years into your career mode. I don't think they're going to allow for drivers to swap rides necessarily. I think it's just going to be when drivers retire, you're going to see Xfinity and truck guys that are in the Xfinity and truck series in real life now take over for those guys at the end of it. Will it have to do with manufacturer alliance, or will it just be random? You know, we'll just have to wait and see when the time comes. But yeah, I was kind of expecting that at least. But it's not going to be a full silly season because NASCAR doesn't want. That's the reason why we haven't had a gigantic silly season in NASCAR video games in a long, long time, is because, you know, these team owners don't want, you know, even in a video, even though it's a video game, they don't want Ryan Blaney running for Hendrick Motorsports. Like, they just don't approve of that, and vice versa. Hendrick Motorsports wouldn't want Chase Elliott running for Joe Gibbs Racing. Even though it's a video game and it's not real, I just don't. That's what I don't understand about it. I think a lot of it has to do with the sponsors too. Feeling a little stuffed up all of a sudden over the last I didn't feel like this at all until like 5 minutes before I streamed. So sorry if I'm sniffling in the mic. I'm trying to keep that at a minimum. I don't know how loud it is for you guys. And Dale Jr. is not going to be making a pass for the lead anytime soon. These two just kind of waiting on the rest of the pack to catch up. I mean, they fell quite a ways behind, which is why it's taking a mighty long time for anybody to get up here. This is the fourth race with this Platinum Lowe's paint scheme, a chromed out version of this race car. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. You can slowly, at least I can, I don't know if you guys can tell, but in the rearview mirror, there are some cars closing in. Ryan Newman, one of them. Looks like Newman's the fourth place car. Can't tell who's in third, though. Tony Stewart, who was in the top five early on and challenged for the lead on the opening couple laps, is not that car, I don't believe. Doesn't seem like a bright orange car. So Junior's going to have some drafting help to maybe get a run on Johnson. You'd have to assume he's going to have a very fast race car. He dominated both Busch Series races at Daytona that we ran in our Busch Series season, but he didn't win either one of them. In fact, Kenny Wallace got the sweep. His only 2 wins of the Busch Series season came at Daytona twice. So now you got to think about Elliott Sadler, who won the Daytona 500. Can he get the season sweep at Daytona in the Cup Series side of things on this game? Johnson undercutting the corner a little bit there in 3 and 4. At least Johnson wasn't close enough to get or I should say Junior wasn't close enough to really attack and be able to get the lead. I mean, he tries to pull out a line every now and then and make a move with no help behind him. It's a very, very easy block for Johnson because Junior just can't build up that momentum. Junior bounces off the wall off turn 4. And he's going to lose a little bit of ground again. Third time he's already gotten in the wall while running behind Johnson as the two have broken away from the pack. Just gets a little tight off the exit of the corner with Johnson in front of him, and I think that was the same thing that happened to Newman when he tried to make the pass for the lead and stacked up the field behind him. It's not a gigantic group of cars either that's catching up to the top two. It's just kind of 2 cars, and then there's a space and another handful of cars and another space. It's almost like as if they went through green flag pit stops, but we haven't even had our first pit stop of the race yet. Bobby Labonte in third place, by the way, and he's getting a run on Dale Jr. in the tri-oval. Drafted behind him on the high side of the racetrack, and again, Newman is right behind Labonte, so Labonte's going to end up getting a very big run on Dale Jr. here. Labonte stays low behind the 8. Newman actually goes to the high side that time. Oh, that's a little wiggly. Getting into turn 3. And there's that run for Labonte. Lap later than anticipated, but he got it. Now he's on the inside of Dale Jr. for the lead for second place into turn 1. Ryan Newman going to go to the top though with Dale Jr. And Jimmy Johnson just hit halfway on fuel at lap 19. That is interesting because he's going to want to make this a 3 pit stop race today. He's going to want to go 40 laps per run, but only getting to lap 19 and he's halfway on fuel. That's not good. Now, the problem is, too, is because he's leading. He's been full throttle since the start. He's led every lap. So he's not able to save fuel in the draft like, say, Dale Jr. Literally almost everybody else in the field behind him is. Yeah, we could see A.J. Allmendinger in the Cup Series, too, in the 16 car. We'll just have to wait to see how many drivers they have in the game. If they have a full 40 or 30, I would assume they're going to have at least 40, maybe more. Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte side by side for second. Dale Jr. has fallen back to the 4th spot. Labonte and Newman side drafted each other just a little bit more. Dale Jr. now underneath Bobby Labonte. More position. You gotta say though, early on, Jimmy Johnson has really held his composure. He hasn't drifted wide enough for anybody to really make a move on him. He's got a great handling race car. Notice that qualifying. I didn't practice before the race, but qualifying, the car just felt like it had a lot of grip. And I know you might be thinking, well, it's Daytona, and it's a restrictor plate race, so it should have a lot of grip. But it's a little bit different in this day and age of NASCAR. Not only do the Gen 4 cars have a lot less downforce than the cars currently, the Gen 6 on the super speedways, especially with the current package that they have, the amount of downforce. But the fact that this track has a lot of wear and tear on it too, and Talladega for that matter, both the super speedways in this game. Very old surfaces, and tires will wear. Newman maybe trying to back up to get a run. He's going to get there in the center of the corner, though. And now Dale Jr. going to get underneath Newman. Newman wanted to throw the block that time. And he definitely pitched Dale Jr. off the exit of turn 4. Good enough of a draft, though, behind the 48. He's able to swing to the bottom. Now Dale Jr. will go to the high side, and Bobby Labonte stays in the draft on the bottom. No drafting help for Dale Jr. He'll lose another position. So 2nd through 4th are kind of cycling back and forth with each other, but they can't get around Johnson. And it is allowing more cars even behind this group of 4 now to close in on the leaders. Jimmy Johnson finished outside the top 30 in the Daytona 500 this year, so this is a very good start. He knows he can run well on the super speedways because he finished 2nd in the last super speedway race at Talladega. Still looking for that first win on a super speedway this year, points paying at least, and he did win his Gatorade Duel event earlier in the season as well. Kevin Harvick in 5th place. Bunch of Chevys and 1 Dodge right now inside the top 5. No Fords. It's kind of been the story of the season that Fords have probably been the 3rd best manufacturer throughout the course of the year. Even getting a run, nowhere to go with it to the high side. Bobby Labonte gets underneath him, trying to take a shot for 2nd place. Dale Jr., where's he going to go? Is he going to go with Newman or is he going to go with Labonte? See, that's the thing. There's literally no teammates up here. Mentioned that there's a ton of Chevys up at the front, but none of them are teammates. You got a Joe Gibbs car, you got a Hendrick Chevy, you got a DEI Chevy, an RCR Chevy, and then a Dodge of Ryan Newman for Penske. I guess Tony Stewart is up here, but he's not quite close enough with his teammate Labonte, who's in 2nd. Dale Jr. gonna... Oh, man, I thought he was going to take it 3 wide. We haven't really seen that today. Not yet, at least, at the front of the pack. Things fairly calm for the start. And Labonte bounces off the wall, giving Jr. 2nd place. Harvick to 3rd. And Johnson's led the first 25 laps of the Pepsi 400. Labonte trying to cross back over on Kevin Harvick. Remember, Kevin Harvick won our NASCAR Thunder 2004 Daytona 500. Not the same game, but from the same title. As far as EA Sports being the publisher of the game. And now Junior bounces off the wall. That's the 4th time he has gotten into the outside wall. That was very similar to the first few. Just seems like these cars are getting tight off the exit of turn 4 in traffic. Johnson luckily hasn't had to really deal with traffic in front of him yet. He's going to have to hope for a quick pit stop as well. In the green flag conditions as he continues to try and just lead as many laps as he possibly can early on. The only downside to this, he's not able to save any fuel whatsoever. Once he clinches the most laps led today, I'm sure he'll maybe try to drop back, but for right now, just doesn't feel it's worth it. You have to assume we're going to get a caution at some point in time. You'd have to assume. I mean, it is Daytona after all. That's now like the 5th time Dale Jr. has hit the wall. He might bring out a debris caution one of these times. He keeps banging up that right front fender. Johnson's got over a half a second lead into turn 1 now. That really stacked up the pack behind. So they try to scatter apart. Turns 1 and 2. They're going to have a gigantic run on Jimmy Johnson when they get back to his bumper. Quarter of a tank of gas left at lap 28 for the 48. I want to see your guys' predictions. How many cautions do you think we're going to get tonight, if any? It is Daytona. These races can be super chaotic. Pretty tame to start this race so far, but we are still very early in the going. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome into the stream. And also hit that like button down below. Currently 4 likes on the stream. 6 people watching in the very early going to the race. Kevin Harvick trying to get to a race-high 2nd place position. He's underneath Dale Jr. for the moment. They side-draft each other down the back straightaway into turn 3. Black Ace, welcome to the stream as well. Haven't missed anything so far. 30 clean laps at Daytona. Harvick clears Jr. off turn 4 for 2nd. Ethan, welcome to the stream as well. A lot of you guys starting to file in now. Getting amped up for Daytona. Ethan says there's going to be 5 cautions. It just seems like they get really close to the 48, but they sidedraft each other when they get to second place, that they're just not able to really get a run because they're slowing each other down. Same thing's going to happen here. Junior closes in, but Ryan Newman pulls that left rear corner panel, pulls the 8 car back just a little bit. Seven cautions. You know the saying, cautions breed cautions. That is very true. It's a tame start. I forget what year it was. Newman challenges to the high side for the lead down the back straightaway. He's definitely got some horsepower under that hood today. Newman also trying to go for the points lead as he's only 65 points back of Gordon. He's running ahead of the points leader right now, but the guy second place right behind Gordon has led every lap so far. Johnson drifts up the track now. He's in the wall up turn 4, and Kevin Harvick will get to the lead. Man, oh man. Jimmy's car's getting a little tight. Especially now that he's back in traffic, but he got tight even with the lead off of turn 4. Right front tires continuously wearing. And Newman going to try to challenge to the high side for the lead again. Dale Jr.'s got a massive run. He'll follow the 29. 8 cautions, 2 big ones. Joshua's prediction. And Dale Jr. going to pit early, lap 32. Bobby Labonte also comes down. His teammate Stewart did not. So this is the first lap that Jimmy Johnson has not led today. Now Harvick leads, contact with Newman. A little rub and run. I'm going to have to pause it soon to blow my nose. Sorry. I got like a tickle. It's kind of bothering me right now. I'll wait until the pit stops. Try to, at least. Johnson pulling out of line. Down the back straightaway into turn 3, and he's got the lead on Kevin Harvick. So I guess he didn't lose it for too long after falling back to 4th. It was an easy pass on Junior, though, because he pitted. You got the lap cars coming out of the pit, so going to definitely have to watch them as well. Down on the inside of the racetrack. As well as the rest of the field behind the race leader, Jimmy Johnson. Johnson just can't get his car to turn right now on corner entry. All of a sudden, Harvick's going to challenge to the inside. Harvick to the lead. Johnson back to the inside, though, the 29. Newman's going to get stuck right behind Kenseth. No, Kenseth goes high. Newman able to go to the bottom. Johnson's clear in the middle of 3 and 4. Starting to go back and forth all of a sudden. Michael Waltrip, last car in the lead lap for the time being. Johnson going to try to go as far as he can on this opening fuel run, so we know exactly how much fuel we can push out of the car. Especially while leading most of the laps. Looks like Kevin Harvick's going to drop onto pit road this time, as well as Ryan Newman. Johnson will stay out one more lap at least. So Johnson's going to pit at lap 37. He's going to stay out one more lap beyond this. Really trying to stretch the fuel run out to start the race. He's not the last car on the racetrack right now, but we'll see how many more cars will pit this time. And see if any of them at all can make it to lap 40. Kenseth trying to get his lap back. On fresher tires as well. Lap 37 at the line, so Johnson will pit this time by. Side by side coming out of the pits back there. Somebody's going to have to give. Let's get in to the apron. Kenseth got pinched off by Johnson off the exit of turn 2. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. No adjustments coming, at least during the first stop for Johnson, as he runs out of gas in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Oh, man, almost spun out. That was a close one. Maybe should have waited. I was just trying to pretty much stay out of everybody's way. It was the only reason I cut to the apron as quickly as I did. That didn't really cost him too much time. It'll be right side tires only, but a full tank of fuel and no adjustments for the 48. So not going to cost him too much time. He should gain whatever back with right sides only. It might still be a little bit quicker than everybody else by the time he makes it off of pit road. He is clear. There's nobody around him, so he'll pull up onto the racetrack. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream as well. So we've actually cycled through green flag pit stops at the Daytona International Speedway. You don't see that too often. But it was the opening pit stop of the day, lap 38 right now, as Johnson makes his way out of the pit lane and tries to get up to speed by himself with no drafting help. By Farland, the most laps today, he's led all but 2 or 3 laps so far. Kevin Harvick had led. So at the start-finish line, Johnson's still trying to get that speed up. 2.3 second lead. Again, they will run him down eventually. Gives him a few easier laps led again, though. So even without saving much fuel, he was still the last car, one of the last cars, onto pit road. Lap 38, so this is looking pretty tame as far as who's going to make it on fuel, who isn't. The only big issue here is if we get any cautions. That is where it's going to turn into a fuel mileage race, because if nobody pits trying to stretch the tank and keep track position, which you usually saw a lot of track position battles at Daytona and Talladega on the bumpier surface, because clean air is where you wanted to be. It was still relevant to pass because of the restrictor plates, but it wasn't easy at the same time. Johnson didn't have to lock the tires up either, with kind of sputtering on fuel in the middle of 3 and 4 anyway. His left sides are going to be really, really old at the end of this run, though. Probably going to have to go, likely going to have to go 4 tires on the next stop. I guess we'll just wait and see. Johnson only got into the wall once. Off turn 4, that's what cost him the lead. And Dale Jr. is the car in second place. Trying to close in on the leader. Watching TCU and Oklahoma. So Jr. was the first driver to catch Jimmy Johnson. We'll see, though. It's 4 tires versus only 2 for the 48. It's definitely going to make these other cars faster behind him, but did it just to make sure he was going to have track position, especially running out of gas where he did. If he would have taken 4 tires, it would have been no way he would have cycled through as a leader. Junior with a run. Johnson couldn't block it at all, and that was pretty much created all by himself. Down the back straightaway, though, no help for either car. And getting into 3 and 4, Johnson pulls clear, so he's able to side draft Dale Jr. just enough. As they slowed each other up, Junior gets into the wall off turn 4, and Casey Kane's up to second place. Second half of the regular season now, Kane's still searching for his first career win in his rookie year, but he's currently 9th in the point standings. And if the chase would have started today, he would have made it. Ran very, very well at Daytona and Speed Weeks and finished second in his dual race earlier this season. Must have had a pretty fast pit stop as well for his crew to be able to get up into that lead pack, as he wasn't really there when the pit stops originally started. So it's pretty much a commitment here that if it goes green, all 160 laps and 400 miles at Daytona, which would be a miracle of itself. But if it does, it is going to be a 4-stop race. If we get any cautions, though, that's going to allow these teams to save fuel. The drivers who pitted right around lap 36, 37, they're going to be a lot closer on 1 or 2 cautions to be able to make it. So you just wonder if they pit or not, if they come early enough in the race. And how committed to that strategy will they be as we get later in the going? Dale Jr. again pops the wall off turn 4. There is one driver on pit road who has seemingly blown an engine, and someone's night has come to an early end. Obviously not going to be able to tell who that is, though. And we did not see them physically blow an engine, but there is a car on pit road. Tell you what, we're still in the first half of this race. Dale Jr. has beat his car up in the early going. There were some caution-free super speedway races around this time period in NASCAR. In fact, the final caution-free race NASCAR has ever seen was in 2004 at Daytona. Also had one in 2002. Kurt Busch now in the lead pack all of a sudden. Both the Gibbs cars of Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart up here. Both former champions. Kurt really wants to take it 3 wide. Labonte's going to block him down to the yellow line on the inside. We got 6 cars in this lead pack, and I think Elliott Sadler... No, it's not Sadler. I can't tell who the other driver is back there. Actually, I think it's Kevin Harvick. So I believe the 6 cars in the lead pack would be Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, and Kevin Harvick. Ryan Newman nowhere to be found right now. He must have had a slow pit stop. Yeah, speaking of hockey, perfect Detroit sports way to lose the other night. The Red Wings lost 7-6 in overtime, despite the fact that Tyler Bertuzzi had 4 goals in the game for the Red Wings. At least we got 1 point for the season standings, but obviously, when you score 6 goals, you expect to win more often than not, but I guess it just wasn't the case for us. Makes me miss the days of Chris Osgood being the goalie. He was one of my favorites growing up. Hendrik Zetterberg was my number 1 favorite. Pavel Datsyuk. Those are probably my top 3. Nick Lidstrom is right up there too, though. I mean, I think this just goes to show that obviously clean air is still a factor at Daytona. Jimmy Johnson on 2 tires is able to hold on to the lead. Will he have the same effect back in traffic on 2 tires? He's going to hope he doesn't have to find out, but we'll have to wait and see. Three wide for really the first time at the front of the field. Bobby Labonte got shafted to the outside lane. Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart went underneath him. Junior following. Sorry, that's not Tony Stewart. That's Casey Kane still, the 9. And he was further in the back and looked orange. And now I see the Dodge emblem on the front of the car. It is Casey Kane, which makes sense because Casey was in second there for a little bit before the pack got bigger. And now there's contact! Off of turn 4, Kevin Harvick bounced into the wall and bounced into the right side of Casey Kane's Dodge. And everybody checks up behind him, but we do stay green now to lap 50 at Daytona. Almost had our first accident of the day. Probably the closest we've came to it so far. Yeah, I saw Iowa lost right before I went live. Got alerted that they lost. I guess it's, and I didn't even know this, but the first loss by a top 5 team at home against an unranked team since 2014. I feel like we see upsets so much in college sports on a yearly basis. I'm surprised that hasn't happened until now in the last 7 years. Kane trying to build up another run. Harvick blocks him to the inside into turn 3. Look at all the blocks Harvick is throwing on Casey Kane. That 9 car of Kane definitely showing some speed. Nothing to do with it for the moment, though. Kurt Busch going to try to give him some help. Now they go to the high side, trying to get around the 29. Harvick swings high, seeing the run. Kane swaps back down to the bottom, and here comes Harvick. Looking for the lead, a little nudge. Slowing that outside lane back down, and Johnson holds on into 3. And Jeff Gordon, for the first time today, is in the mix. Second in line on the inside behind the 9 of Cade. Dale Jarrett in the lead pack in the 88. Only Ford outside of Kurt Busch that we've really seen up inside the top 5 all day long. Yeah, Billy's from St. Louis. The St. Louis area. Billy, I can assume you're probably going to Gateway next year? I'm getting a cup date now? These runs are becoming way too massive. We saw Harvick get to the outside of Johnson there briefly, but I gotta say, though, Johnson's still doing a pretty decent job trying to hold on. A couple of Fords now on the inside line working together with Kurt Busch and Dale Jarrett as more and more cars build into this lead pack. The runs are getting bigger and bigger. Going to make it harder and harder to block for Jimmy Johnson. Jarrett now going to go to the inside. Underneath Kurt Busch. Johnson trying to get his car to turn. He couldn't get it to turn on corner entry. Luckily, there wasn't a big enough run on the inside initially. Off the exit of turn 4. Johnson barely holds clear on the 97 of Busch. Caution for the first time today at lap 55. Caution is out for the first time. Oh, 133 car backs into the wall and takes a couple other cars with him. Oh, big hit for Rusty Wallace and Robbie Gordon as well. Rusty looked like he had it saved and then backed right back into the driver's side door and into the wall as well on Robbie Gordon. So Johnson's going to stay out of the pits here. We'll see if anybody else stays out of the pits. Again, this is our first caution of the race. It took till 55 laps in. We finally got it. And I don't think anybody predicted less than 5 cautions down in the chat when I asked a little while ago. There's our first. Green flag back in the air at Daytona, and now the entire field is under a blanket for the first time since lap 1. Johnson got a great launch on the restart, despite the 2 old left side tires. Now, the crew chief did not tell us that anybody else pit behind us. So again, every caution we get, it's going to make it closer and closer of a fuel mileage race to the end, where it was looking like after the first stop it was likely going to be a 4-stop day. Who knows, it might not be the case anymore. But I believe everybody stayed out of the pits and is thinking the same thing Johnson was thinking. Still a little too early to tell, of course, though. Oh, boy. Dale Jarrett into the wall and contact with Kurt Busch. Busch almost goes around. 2-car Hendrick breakaway at the front now. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, the points leaders, are the ones to stay ahead of the carnage. Johnson moved up, took the air off the front of the 88 of Jarrett. And here comes Gordon trying to get 5 bonus points. Remember, he is the points leader. Johnson tags him. He's trying to side draft him. He almost turned his teammate. Into turn 3, Jimmy holds on to the lead. Joshua just coming off the first caution of the race. At lap 55, and a stack up off turn 4 after Jarrett got into the wall and then into Kurt Busch. Busch made a great save before causing the big one. Jarrett is caught up to the front too after they made that little bit of contact. So it's a 3-car breakaway now at the front of the field. And now Gordon gets into the wall and Jarrett has to check up behind him. It's actually surprising that Jarrett hit the wall. And he's the first driver to actually catch up to these guys. He must not have actually lost that much momentum. Looked like he did. Looked like he should have. Just less than 100 laps to go. Lap 62 of 160. And only 1 pit stop so far. That was under green. Johnson pitted at lap 37, but with the caution, may be able to go a little bit longer on fuel. If you make it to lap 80, there's at least a chance. Yeah, 3-car crash brought out that first caution, and Gordon gets to the inside. He'll clear Johnson off turn 4. Jeff Gordon to the lead for the first time tonight in the Pepsi 400. Surprised he's not using the Pepsi paint scheme in this race. Could have been self-sponsored. Johnson got the run right back in the tri-oval. Gordon tried to side draft him. Jimmy pulls halfway below that yellow line. No out of bounds in this game. Going to use that to our advantage, and Johnson pulls clear. Jarrett to the inside of Gordon out for second. But Gordon got 5 bonus points. First lap led of the day. That's all he really wanted there. Knowing that Johnson could very well be on his way to getting 10 bonus points for leading the most laps, because Jimmy has dominated this race so far. Really led all but 4 or 5 laps, and that's about it. About as dominant of a performance as you can have on a super speedway. Now Jarrett trying to take his first lead of the race, and he's clear off turn 2. Can he lead back to the start-finish line, though, as Johnson tries to get that quick share draft, pull to the bottom with the run. Maybe a little help because Gordon was behind him off the exit of turn 2. Johnson pulls back clear into 3. And blocks the crossover move by the 88. Johnson's going to get into the wall, though. Second time he's gotten into the wall today, but he actually held on to the lead that time. And now we got another caution at lap 64, our second of the race. 9 laps after the first one. And again, it's off turn 4. Oh, man, and that might have been the big one. Brendan Gaughan got pinched, it looked like, with Ricky Rudd off turn 4. Actually, not that many cars involved. Michael Waltrip might have gotten a piece of his left rear taken out as well. So 2 cautions in less than 10 laps here at Daytona. And I think we were talking about cautions, breeding cautions, especially at Daytona, and that seems to be the case right now. With the field under a blanket. A quick race pace to start, now being plagued by 2 yellows in the midway point. Green flag back in the air. And the field is bunched back together again. Never seems to be a great thing. Everybody else stays out of the pits again that time. So another, looked like about a 3-car crash. 2 3-car crashes, both off the exit of turn 4. One on a spin, and then that one, it just looked like guys ran out of real estate. Maybe a little too aggressive of a move. Speaking of aggressive, here comes Jeff Gordon. He's going to take it 3 wide to the inside for second place into turn 3 as they get up to speed. Now Gordon's underneath Johnson as Johnson slides wide. Almost gets into the wall. Gordon to the lead off of turn 4. And look at Jeff Green trying to get his first career win as he's up inside of Gordon, or inside of Harvick rather, for third place. Johnson to the inside of Gordon, who led the opening lap after the restart. Johnson clears Gordon back into 1 and 2. They're 3 wide again with Kurt Busch to the inside of Green and Harvick, and things are getting wild at Daytona. Jeff Green, remember, won his dual race back at Daytona earlier this season. Looking strong in the mid-going here. He survived the first 2 cautions. This pack is under a blanket right now. 2 and 3 wide from the get-go, but it's the Hendrick Chevys leading the way. Gordon bounces off the wall. The field's going to get stacked up. Kenseth is going to get to second now. Johnson's left side tires are 70 laps old. Those 6 of them were under a caution. Kenseth not quite able to clear the 24. Now the right front's into the yellow. I'm sure the right rear is going to be there very soon as well. Kenseth to the outside. He's got Gordon behind him. Kurt Busch's teammate is on the bottom. It's weird. That's going to split the Roush and the Hendrick cars up. Jimmy trying to get the turn. Wasn't perfect getting into the corner. It may work to hold on to the lead. Kenseth with the run to the high side again. Into the tri-oval at the start-finish line. It'll be Johnson leading this lap. Kenseth still trying to lead his first. First, he's challenged for the lead all day. Johnson is just shoving way up the track of corner entry. He just can't hold the bottom. It's going to be hard trying to hold the lanes, but he may have to try and arc it off into the corner. Maybe that'll help. Although I'm worried it may not arc it. It might just get tight on entry on the high side. Tried to enter in the middle instead of the high side that time. It kind of stays in the middle. It's about corner exit. You can finally get the car to turn from then on. Kenseth and Kurt Busch side by side. When will green flag pit stop start for the second time today after those 2 cautions already? Kurt Busch controlling the lanes in second place behind the race leader, Jimmy Johnson. Junior to the inside of Busch. Gordon maybe going to try to take it 3 wide now on Dale Jr. Jr. blocks Gordon. And now the Roush cars are linked up with Kenseth and Kurt Busch. Big run coming on the high side. Nothing to do with it. Johnson controls the lanes again into the trioval. Nothing but Chevys on the inside. Johnson, Jr., Gordon, Labonte were the first 4, and now Jr. on the back straightaway goes to the high side in front of Kurt Busch. Harvick also on the bottom behind Labonte. Labonte slides up. Oh man, that might have shoved the 17 wide. Kenseth files in line instead behind the 18. Junior's got to run on the high side. Johnson slides up off the exit of turn 4. A lot of lane changing going on, more than what we've seen so far. Ryan Newman trying to work himself back towards the front of the field again. Johnson entered low and actually got the car to stick really well that time in 1 and 2. It's kind of luck of the draw because you're in the gas full throttle when you're in the lead. Gordon almost gets to the outside of his teammate. Thought he had enough of a run to get there. Johnson holds him off midway down the back straightaway. The run going to come this time. Gordon into the wall. It may have rubbed the 29 of Harvick as well. Newman to the inside of Jeff Gordon for 3rd. Harvick holds on to 2nd place. Johnson pulls ahead by about a car length and a half to 2 car lengths at the start-finish line. Now into turn 1. That didn't really stall the pack up, though, and now the left front's in the red. Lap 75, fuel tank almost empty. As racy as the pack has been all night long after the second restart. Johnson has no turn in the car that time in 1 and 2. Bottom open for Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, to the lead at Daytona. Harvick in the wall and into Gordon off the exit of turn 2. Johnson going to try to fight back on Newman as he goes to the high side. A little contact with the 12. Blown engine on the inside of the track for Ricky Rudd, who was involved in the last caution. His night will come to an early end. Lap 77 at the line. Nobody has pit yet. Almost makes you wonder if the rest of the field may have actually pit under the caution. Either one of the two, I'm not sure. Because nobody has pit yet. Johnson was one of the last cars to pit the first time we saw some stops. And Johnson not going to risk it another lap. He does not want to run out of fuel in front of the pack, so he will pit this time off turn 4. It'll be 2 left side tires only, though. He does lock the tires up to keep from speeding onto pit road. That's going to wear the right sides down a little bit more. It'll be 4 fresh tires. And he's going to loosen it up 1 round of wedge as well. So a little bit of an adjustment coming up here for Jimmie Johnson. But locking up that right front, hopefully he can make it to the end of the run. He's kept the car fairly clean all night. And Dale Jr. will be the leader at the front of the pack. Jimmy Johnson shown in 37th right now. Is there that many cars out of the race? I wonder if anybody that got those first two accidents might be out of the race. Johnson's the last car on the lead lap in 37th. That's a lot of DNFs already. They had 2 3-car accidents. And we know of 2 drivers who have blown an engine, one being Ricky Rudd. The Rudd was involved in that accident too. So I guess it's possible. Rusty Wallace definitely hit hard, as well as Robbie Gordon in the first caution. Johnson also only took 2 tires to make sure he was going to stay on the lead lap, or at least give himself some more room before everybody else gets there. He's going to have to stay on the lead lap when that pack catches him if we don't get a caution before that. So for right now, he's just going to have to try and ride it out. How many laps can Dale Jr. lead? He's been very close to leading, but now he is leading for the first time. He maybe pull away in the pack with a bunch of other drivers. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today over the next 8 laps. Halfway home when Dale Jr. crosses the start-finish line this time. So everybody has made 2 pit stops in this race, it looks like. We didn't get any word from the crew chief that anybody pitted under either of the first 2 cautions, so I don't know which one they pitted under. They would have had to have pit. Unless they were able to save that much fuel under caution. Johnson maybe saved a lap at the most, and that was it. Under 2 cautions. He was definitely booking and planning on saving a lot more, and this is going to put him in an odd situation the rest of this race. Hope this doesn't hurt his chances of winning. He's definitely got one of the faster cars, if not the fastest car in the field. We'll just have to wait and see. That's the fun part about full races. And with no stages either, it's like the strategy. It's just not just one plain and simple strategy. I mean, there's a lot of strategies that go into play. And there still is with stage racing, but not as often. It's like every single race in this time period of NASCAR was a strategy race. But then you had some great racing on the track on top of it. That kind of put the icing on the cake. Johnson just kind of riding out. At least he's far enough in the pack now. He'll get to do opposite of everybody else, where if we get a caution and he's 37th, he'll be able to see if anybody is pitting in front of him before he makes the decision whether he wants to pit or not. And if they start to file onto pit road, I think Johnson's got to stay out. Get that track position back. If they stay out, then he's going to pit. And you might as well put 4 tires on the car. He's got 2 old right sides right now. He took left sides only under that last stop. He took right sides only under the first stop. See, the thing is, too, Johnson, one way or another, is likely going to need a caution. We had a 55-lap green flag run to start the race. And we had 2 cautions within a 10-lap stretch. Now we're back to another green flag run of longer than 15 laps, at least for the moment. Because Johnson's going to have to pit 2 more times. And the rest of the field's also going to have to pit 2 more times. He's got no drafting help whatsoever, so he is all by himself right now. Definitely not your typical race at Daytona so far. It's been unpredictable, just like Daytona usually is, but it's a different kind of unpredictable. You got strategy all over the place. You got 2 cautions in the first 70 laps, but they didn't come until lap 55, and then we had 2 of them, like I mentioned, one at lap 55, one at lap 64. No big ones so far, 2 3-car accidents. And now you got the strategy play on top of it. Johnson's got a finish, or he got finishes of first, second, and first with this paint scheme. So that's why he's running it tonight. Hasn't had luck at Daytona, or I should say, I personally haven't had luck at Daytona in this game. We have not won at Daytona in this game in the truck. 1 Truck Series race, 2 Busch Series races. And that's even counting the 3 Cup races up to this point. Non-points races and the actual... Well, okay, sorry. We did win the Gatorade Duel. So I guess we're 0 for 4 in points races at Daytona in this game. Try not to go 0 for 5. But this off strategy cycling right here doesn't feel like it's playing in our favor. Earl, welcome back. What I missed since lap 30, we've had 2 cautions. 3-car wreck off turn 4 lap 55, 3-car wreck off turn 4 lap 64. The 133 car had spun, collecting Rusty Wallace and Robbie Gordon for the first caution of the day. And then not long after the restart, when the field was bunched back together again, is when we had that next caution. Off turn 4 only. It wasn't a spin that caused that one. It was simply just driver trying to move up in between Michael Waltrip and Ricky Rudd and caused a 3-car accident there as well. Yeah, we're on different strategy as the leaders, and not by willingness, I guess. Our crew chief never told us if anybody had pitted under either of the 2 cautions we had, and we stayed out. So now we got no drafting help. We had to pit under green about, 11 laps ago now? So everybody is going to have to pit 2 more times before the end of the race. We don't know when the rest of the field's going to pit. Tell you what, though, when they do pit, Johnson's going to have to draft with anybody possible, and he's going to have to be the push car and try to separate himself from the rest of the field. This may get ugly for him. He's currently shown 36. I think we've had another driver blow an engine since Johnson's been running after he had made his second green flag stop of the day. Took right side tires only under the first stop as well, and again, left side's only under the second stop if you're just tuning in. The difference, though, between the 2 green flag stops, Johnson did not lock the tires up on the first stop. The second stop, he kind of locked the tires up, so hopefully the right front will be able to make it. So we've got some leaders pitting. Dale Jr. on his way to pit road. Ryan Newman will take over the race lead. Johnson's had a clean night so far. Just Again, a fast car. He's led a lot of laps. So lap 89 coming to lap 90 is when a lot of the field pits there, but there's still a lot of cars on the racetrack as well. Johnson will cycle ahead of everybody. He's making their way onto pit road. I should say making their way off of pit road. There's Dale Jr. and even Jeff Gordon cycled ahead of Jr. and Jr. was the leader coming into the pit. So very fast stop for the 2014. And I know Johnson was running by himself. The only reason he's still cycling ahead of these guys is because he took 2 tires, they took 4. It will run him down eventually. Might be some time yet, though. Well, I play NASCAR 06. I plan on it. I want to do a custom schedule season for each series in this game, though, so it might be a while yet. But, yeah, I plan on playing 06 after this, and then 07. 08, 09. Just going to kind of continue the classic game playthroughs. 2 seasons each series, just like we did with Thunder 04. Only Thunder 04 only had the Cup Series, so that's why it was a quicker playthrough. Got it done in less than a year. This one we started back in February. Red Wings up on Vancouver. Yeah, that's one thing, though. The Red Wings have been really good at the beginning of the season the last few years. And then after like 2 or 3 weeks, they fall off the face of the earth. So, although it's good to see them looking competitive, at least offensively, to start the season, I'm gonna hold off on saying anything in particular of what the standards are going to be this season until we can continue to do this over a long period of time. Play as Kyle Busch in NASCAR 06. Yeah, you guys get to vote. You guys will get to vote again, just like you did when you voted for me to run as Jimmy Johnson. I can't run as Terry Labonte or Jimmy Johnson again. Though Terry Labonte, I don't know if he's not going to be in the 5 car anymore after this game. I don't remember him in 07. I didn't play 06 a whole lot to remember the driver roster, at least. I don't know if he was running, because he was still running part-time after he left Hendrick Motorsports, but I don't know what all games he's in from that point on. But anyway, we can't run as Johnson again. We can't run as Labonte again. And that same goes for the Busch Series. We can't run as Kevin Harvick again. Jeff Green stayed out to lead a lap, get himself some 5 bonus points. Only 8 races to go until the chase after our Pepsi 400 tonight concludes. Preds lost to the Kraken. The Kraken. The Preds be cracking under pressure. Ba-doom. That's my dad joke of the night. Thank you. I'll be here all week. No, literally, I'll be here all week. We stream every day on the channel. If you're new, subscribe. There's my plug of the night, too. On a roll. Speaking of on a roll, and these transitions, these wild transitions I've been making, Jimmy Johnson is on a roll tonight, back in the lead after cycling through the second set of pit stops. I should say the field has pitted 3 times. Johnson has pit twice. So although he leads, he's still going to have to pit 1 more time versus the rest of the field. The good news out of this is that he's going to be able to likely end up leading the most laps. And the bad news is that right front tire is in the red, and he's just hitting halfway on fuel. And that's a little sketchy. Yeah, it'd be a different colored Kellogg's car if we were on this Kyle Busch, yellow and blue. Not the Tony the Tiger Frosted Flakes. Well, I guess Frosted Flakes isn't with the tiger stripes necessarily, but gotta love that Tony the Tiger paint scheme. That might be the next classic diecast I get if I find one at Martinsville. I love that scheme as a kid. Who as a kid wouldn't have liked the Tony the Tiger paint scheme? You're not a real kid if you wouldn't have liked that paint scheme if you were a NASCAR fan. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan, I feel like it would catch anybody's eye as a kid. I still eat Frosted Flakes. Heck, I just had a bowl of Frosted Flakes the last day off I had, Thursday. Had a bowl of Frosted Flakes in the morning. Because they're great. It's super punny tonight. I don't know why. Sorry if it's that bad. Nobody's tuning away right now, so I guess it can't be that bad. Uh, 44 car for NASCAR 06, Texas Terrier. Okay, so he was in NASCAR 06. I just couldn't remember. I played that. I know I played that game because I remember the intro was the Pepsi 400, coincidentally. And I think Jeff Gordon wrecked, and you had to like swap out of Gordon's car and had to win the race with Johnson or something, something like that. And that was the whole driver swap. So even if we DNF, we could still finish a race in NASCAR 06. That'd be kind of fun. I plan on doing like a field pass too with the teammates that we end up having for, assuming we have teammates with whoever we're running as. I know we will for one season at least with Biffle. So we got the different camera angles, and then we got that as well. Almost some contact down the back straightaway between Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon. Newman tried to throw a block on Gordon after he got blocked by Jimmy Johnson. Came up on the 48 pretty quickly there, but luckily it was in the straightaway. Johnson was able to make the move, and now Newman bounces off the wall off turn 4. He's all over the place right now. Gordon clear and up to second. So there it is. Johnson has clinched the most laps led. We are at lap number 100. We'll have 60 to go this time by in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. That right front is in the red right now for Jimmy Johnson. I don't think he's going to go to the end of this fuel run, not wanting to risk blowing that tire. The handling actually hasn't gotten that bad despite the right front tire being extremely worn out. But I think a lot of it is because the adjustments they made under that last stop, counteracting the fact that he was probably going to end up being super tight. So they took a full round of wedge out of it. Going to have to remember to put that wedge back in when we make the next stop. And it will likely be right sides only under the next pit stop once again as well, whenever it does come. Johnson's definitely going to have to make 2 stops, though. Tried to save as much fuel as I could, staying out of the pits during those first 2 cautions. I don't think it really did anything for us. If I would have known they pitted under the first yellow, I would have pitted under the second, though. So it is what it is, but really unfortunate. Newman to the high side. Oh, Jeff Gordon might try to take it 3 wide to the middle, into the tri-oval. He thought about it, and then he backed out of the gas. They were 3 wide briefly. Instead, he'll end up just drafting with his teammate. Jimmy Johnson trying to fend everybody off on old tires. Gordon's going to split 3 wide with Johnson on old tires in the middle. Might only be a 3-car pack, but these guys are putting on a clinic at the front of the field. Johnson dive bombs into turn 3 under Ryan Newman. He had to lift to get the car to turn, and he's able to block the 12 and hang on to the lead, but with lifting, he's got to get the momentum back. Gordon to the high side. He gets blocked by Newman. Johnson continues to lead in the Pepsi 400. Gordon the second, passing Newman in the Trioval, and now here comes Dale Jr. in fourth, trying to join the fray at the front of the field. Making it a 4-car breakaway. When will Jimmy Johnson pit? Lap 104. That right front tire's been in the red for a good 7 or 8 laps now. Got to be thinking about making the stop soon. He's already clinched the most laps led. And in fact, all the cars behind him, Gordon, Newman, and Dale Jr. have all led, so they'd already would have had 5 bonus points. There's really no point of him staying out overly long and risking blowing that tire, so he's definitely going to be pitting within the next couple of laps. Especially while there's less cars in a pack behind him, too. It'll be a much easier way getting to pit road without getting ran over off turn 4. Caution right now would be perfect timing, though, and get Johnson right back on the same strategy as the leaders. Pulling low to block Newman off turn 4. Had a decent run there initially. Definitely not going to risk it to the end of the run. I really don't think that right front tire is going to make it. I kind of assumed that was going to be the case because we locked the tires up coming into the pits. But everybody else has already made their second to last stop, so we might as well hear pretty soon also. Quarter tank of fuel left for Jimmy Johnson. He's going to stay out this time by as well. And he's going to pit at lap 106. So Johnson will pit at lap 106. As he gets a little loose off turn 4, he kind of clipped the apron with the left side tires. Junior blocking Newman on the high side, Gordon to the inside for second place. And they're battling for the eventual race lead when Johnson pits this time by. Going to try not to lock the tires up this time again. Johnson will end up taking right side tires only. Trying to minimize the amount of time he's on pit road again. Gordon and Junior side draft each other into turn 3. Johnson will pit this time off of turn 4. And here he is, Jeff Gordon to the lead. That was kind of perfect transition. Johnson giving up the lead for his teammate. Did a great job not locking the tires up that time. Right side's only. Going to put that round wedge back into the car that he had at the start of the day. So making adjustments back to normal. And this is the second to last stop of the day for Jimmy Johnson, and there's an issue on pit road. That's the first mistake the Pickers made in a long time this season. The gas man had some trouble trying to get the, as Winbow would say, the thing in the thing. A couple cars skating on by. Johnson will merge back onto the track now with nobody behind him as Jeff Gordon leads at Daytona. Gordon trying to keep that points lead. Johnson scored last car in the lead lap at 35th. But anyway, yeah, the gas can, or the gas man could not get the gas can into the nozzle. No drafting help for the 48. Everybody's still one stop out from the finish. Now on fuel, Johnson probably could have made it about another 10 or 11 laps, but he didn't want to risk that right front anymore and did a great job not locking the tires up, so he shouldn't have that same issue with the left front tire this time. Should be able to go the full fuel run if he needs. You just got to wonder, when do you pit if you're Jimmy Johnson? Everybody's got to make one more stop today. And this is tough. I don't think we're in a great position to win this race. And it stinks because we've led the most laps. We've already clinched the most laps led. It's how dominant Jimmy Johnson has been today. Old tires, new tires at the front of the field. Gets past. He passes him right back within a few laps. Johnson's got the strongest car in the field. And the woes continue for me at Daytona in this game on the points races. And I just don't know what it is, but we never have the right strategy. We have the car. In this case, we didn't really have the fastest car in the 500. And I don't think we really had the fastest car in any of the super speedway races we've ran in this game so far until today. And even with the fastest car, just can't get the job done. This isn't over yet, though. Still got 52 to go, and Johnson 6 points behind Jeff Gordon for the #1 seed. And I know he's got 2 races worth back on the 11th place driver, Matt Kenseth, in the standings. Kenseth has been in the top 5, at times. I don't know if he actually got a lap led in or not, but it's just interesting here. Depending on where that left front tire is going to be at the end of the race, I think Johnson's going to go fuel only if he has to pit under green. Yeah, the day to night transitions, that's going to be cool. Like, yeah, we had day to night transitions in NASCAR Heat 5, but it was like set at the end of the stage it would transition, but it's going to be kind of cool under a green flag run just seeing like the sun go down. Especially for races like Darlington and Charlotte that actually start in the evening, 5, 6 o'clock, and then end at the nighttime. That'll be really cool. Daytona 500 to a certain extent too, because they've had a later start time for that race in recent years as well. So the problem is, the longer we go green, the less of a chance we're likely going to have of there being a caution. .48 laps to go this time by for Jeff Gordon. I'm sure we're going to start to see some drivers pit as soon as that window opens to the end of the race. Yeah, night race at Vegas too. That's not because of the... I mean, it is because of the start time, but it's because it's on the West Coast more than anything. 3 hours behind the East, so starting at 7 is normal for night races, but because it's out in Vegas, it's not night the full race like it would be on the East. But yeah, I forgot about Vegas though too. Seems like Johnson's catching those 2 cars that we saw not long after Jimmy had cycled off the pit lane. Maybe we'll have the big one, and we'll not only get back on strategy, but we'll get past half of the field because they'll get taken out because of a wreck. That'd be the best thing for us. Now, as far as the rest of the field goes for fuel purposes, they pit at about lap, what was it, like 90, 95? I think it was like lap 95 we started seeing them pit. So what is that going to do for them? Can they actually make it on one stop? Johnson has gone the furthest on fuel at 37 laps today. Those guys, you're looking at about 36, 37 laps at the very most they can go on fuel. It's definitely a risk. I mean, that's about 65 laps. Split that in half, it's about 33, 32 laps. They should make it. They should make it. It's really going to depend when they pit the next time, though. Because if they start pitting right around 40 to go, it's going to be close for them on fuel, too. I should say, too, we definitely have to pit one more time, especially pitting early there. We had to, though. That right front wasn't going to make it to the end of the field run. I didn't want to blow a tire and end the race right there, even though we might finish at the back anyway. Johnson would like to get as many points as he can get. Obviously, it's still racing Gordon for the regular season championship. There's a dogfight up there right now. But on top of that, I mean, if he has a finish outside the top 30 here, that one race gap that he had over the cutoff line, or 2 race gap over the cutoff line, is now more like a 1 race gap. We still got 8 races to go until the chase. And one more wild card race, at least, at Watkins Glen. In a few races. We got a crown jewel, the Brickyard 400, coming up in a few races as well. Also got another crown jewel, the Bristol Night Race, towards the end of the regular season. So some marquee events still to come. California and Michigan were thrillers in the draft. I'm sure that will be the case at those 2 tracks for their second dates at the end of the regular season. Of course, that regular season finale at Richmond, under the lights, short track racing. Put on some drama and some cutoff races before as its last race of the regular season. So Johnson coming up on the 171. I don't even think it's worth drafting with him. I mean, we're obviously a lot faster than him. I'll draft behind him for a lap. And if I don't see any differences in the interval, then Johnson's just going to have to get by Steve Thomas. He's getting by way too quick anyway. Not even going to attempt it. I thought about it. I thought about drafting behind him, and then I was like, yeah, you know what? Probably shouldn't. Maybe Thomas will draft behind Johnson. There is still another car Jimmy's closing in on. It's at least a little bit faster than Steve Thomas. We'll draft with him because there's no other car anywhere after that next one. It'll get us another position for now. We'll alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race for about the next 8 laps. 41 laps to go this time by for Jeff Gordon, the race leader. Hendrick dominated night. Johnson already leading the most laps. Gordon trying to go for a win. If he wins, it would be his 4th win of the season. It would be the 9th for Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick has won the last 5 races. Gordon with a win in this stretch, and Jimmy Johnson with 4 wins in this stretch of the last 5. And that's not even including the All-Star race that Johnson won as well. Gordon trying to extend the points lead with a victory. Yeah, new tracks in the game will definitely be a lot of fun. You didn't even mention Dirt Bristol with the Cup Series, too. That's definitely up there also. So Barry Baker in the 119 is the next lap car in front of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's going to draft with him for at least a little bit. See if that starts to help him out at all. Oh, we got a blown engine on the inside of the track. Jamie McMurray is just blowing an engine with 40 laps to go. That's another spot for Johnson. Johnson's got the drafting help here with Barry Baker, and he is actually kind of cutting in on Jeff Gordon. Again, he does have fresher right side tires than everybody else, too, so he's probably getting a little bit better turn in his race car compared to everybody for now, but then he's going to have really old lefts compared to everybody else once they make their final stop. Johnson just scraped the wall getting into 3. Not going to help him at all. Got really tight in line behind Baker. That's the only problem. Again, with the old left side tires, moving that wedge back too. It's going to affect the right sides, which is not what he wants because Jimmy wants to go the rest of this race on those right side tires. He's planning on it, and ideally, if we could take no tires under the next stop, that would be the most ideal situation. They could just draft to the back of this pack. That could open the door up for Jimmy to draft with some faster cars than Barry Baker as well. Maybe they can even gain more time. I know it's still cars right around 30th place, so they're not going to be all that much faster, but every car is going to be a little bit quicker than the one prior. Man, Johnson lifted into 3, getting tight behind Baker again and still hit the wall. Got a couple cars hitting pit road right now. 37 laps to go. 36 left this time by Jeff Gordon into the pits. Dale Jr. to the lead. So Gordon is pitting with 36 to go. 36, 37 laps. That was the window. It's going to be interesting to see if Gordon can make it off field to the end. Car's fanning out down the back straightaway again, it looks like. Johnson's going to have to be careful, too, whenever Barry Baker decides to make his pit stop. Doesn't look like he will pit this time, though. Doesn't want to get into the back of Baker. That would be pretty bad. There's Jeff Gordon. Johnson easily cycles ahead of him as we expected. Oh, no. Johnson into the left rear of Baker. He was going to pull over, try and make the pass, but he's just getting a little tighter. His left side tire's getting a little bit older. Wanted to draft off the 22 of Wimmer. The problem is it looks like Scott Wimmer is going to be coming into the pits this lap. So Wimmer will pull the pit road. There's Dale Jr. Oh, man. That's a little squirrely off turn 2. Needs to take care of the tires if he's going to want to go fuel only to the end of the race. These drivers that still have it pit, they're definitely going to make it on fuel at the end. So there will be some drivers that Johnson's going to be able to rely on. Perhaps running out of fuel, but not everybody. Drivers at pit with 37 to go. They're really going to be close. That was as far as Johnson can make it. Gordon, who was the leader before the green flag pit stop started, pitted with 36 to go. Newman trying to control the race as he continues to lead. We'll see if he'll pit this time. And it looks like he will. So Ryan Newman on his way to pit road. The 171 car. Johnson's on older tires already compared to everybody else as it is. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race when Johnson gets back to the start-finish line this time. To second, and there's Ryan Newman. So Johnson back to the lead with 32 laps to go at Daytona. Everybody is seemingly good to the end on fuel, or at least have perhaps made their final stop of the day. Some drivers will be close, but Johnson definitely is going to have to pit again at some point. And let's see how much of a lead he's going to have here. Jimmy's pitting this time. He's not going to go any further. Everybody's already pitted. He's already clinched the most laps led. He's going to pit now. He's about 5.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. They're going to try to draft and catch up. Johnson's got to make sure not to lock the tires up this time. Can't speed either. And did a great job not doing either. No tires. And we'll just top it off with fuel. Going to take around a wedge out of the race car, so adjustments being made on the 48 as well. No issue with the pit stop this time, just like the last one. So now Johnson making his final stop. It'll be fuel only, which means he is only changing left side tires, if I do my math correctly, once this entire race. And he changed right sides twice. Johnson pulling up onto the racetrack. I don't know if that was a great idea. Martin kind of checked up behind him. Johnson scored 18th. I mean, it's gained him a little bit of ground. And Johnson's got a teammate right behind him as well, Terry Labonte. We try to draft the goal, Texas Terry. I think that's going to be the case here. Johnson lets Labonte go. Trying to get in line behind him. Mark Martin also underneath of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson trying to pull the back bumper of his teammate and will. 29 seconds off the lead in 19th now as he has gotten up to speed. 30 laps to go in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. So now we get a caution. Although everybody's seemingly going to stay out, at least he's in 19th. Not quite as bad where he was 33rd. Problem is, he's going to have extremely old tires compared to everybody else the rest of this race. It's looking like for a little bit, though, he was going to have a finish outside the top 35. Now, not as much the case. And he did make an adjustment, too. Took full round of wedge out of the car. Definitely running a little bit tighter in line behind the 5 of Labonte still, but if it wasn't for those adjustment changes, I think he probably would have put it in the wall that time, too. So Jeff Gordon has cycled back to the lead. 28 laps to go for Gordon. We definitely don't know if Gordon can make it on fuel or not to the end. He's probably going to be the biggest question mark as far as the leaders. Dale Jr. went a lap or two after him, and then Newman's plenty good. I think Jr.'s even good, honestly. Only having to run about 34 laps on fuel. 35 at the most, but that's still one less than Gordon. Johnson and Labonte are actually making up some ground, too. They're not making up enough ground to actually catch the leaders unless Gordon runs out of gas. We don't know how far ahead Gordon is compared to the rest of the cars behind him with how spaced apart the field is. He may have been able to find some lap cars to draft with. Both left side tires in the yellow. The right front's in the yellow now. Johnson's going to be hanging on for dear life here in 27 laps. But for now, he's trying to hustle. A better car to work with than his teammate. How quickly can these guys get through the pack, too? Johnson would like to work with Labonte, but if Labonte doesn't make a move quick enough on the car in front of him, Johnson's got to take it. Especially trying to battle for the regular season championship. 6 points is the difference. Only 8 races remain after this. Ryan Newman's up there towards the front, too. Even if Gordon runs out of gas, Newman, remember, is only 65 points off the lead from Jeff Gordon. Newman led earlier in the season, lost the lead there for a little bit. Now working on trying to get it back. This car's definitely getting, I'd say, even looser than what it was before. It's kind of tight initially. Maybe the cold left side tires, but almost feels a little skatey getting into turn 3. We still got 25 to go. That's not good. A little early for that. My liking. Just as fast if he can hang on to him. But right now, it's all right. I don't know if it's a fast loose, but it's not really slowing us down too much either. Only other fuel mileage race we had this season in the Cup Series was way back in the second race of the year at Rockingham. Harvick and Johnson tried to battle it out for the win. Harvick ran out of fuel, leading on the final lap of the race. $15 races between now and then. Bonnie and Johnson close in quickly. Sterling Marlin. Labonte going to look to make the move quickly now on Marlin. And he's going to get underneath him pretty quickly. That's exactly what Jimmy Johnson wanted. Labonte did not only pull out and make the move, to make it quickly like that, and that's going to be a pass for position for both Labonte and Johnson as they work together. Nice car to pass if we get a restart. Marlin could just kind of link on, too. That would be perfect if they can get more than just the 2 cars working together. Only going to make them even faster. Initially, it kind of seems like Marlin's hanging on. Jeff Burton for position just up ahead. Biggest gap between cars, it seems like, on the track map was where Marlin was at after Labonte got around the car before Sterling. Labonte with a run down the back straightaway. Oh, big block by Jeff Burton. Gigantic block by Burton. Labonte had to check up. Johnson going to have to abandon his teammate for Jeff Burton. Jimmy didn't want to do that, but felt the need. Problem is all these cars are racing right now. Jeff Burton's running that middle to upper groove. Johnson wants him to run the bottom. 20 laps to go at Daytona. There's some lap traffic ahead of Gordon, too. And don't forget about the lap cars. Oh, no! Jimmy Johnson just caught the rear bumper of Jeff Burton, who makes a big-time save. Wow, I thought Burton was going around there for a second. Johnson had a massive run, and that just goes to show the Gen 4 cars, their bumpers do not align as well as the cars do nowadays. He hit him pretty square. He just almost jumped Jeff Burton, getting into one. And I guess the Hendrick teammates are back to working together again. Johnson makes another minor mistake off the exit of the corner. 19 laps to go. Two cautions, but we have not seen the big one. It's the longest green flag run of the race so far. Almost 80 laps is this current green flag run, and if we do go green to the end of the race, we last went green at lap 67. So it would be a 93 lap run to the checker. These two cautions coming out back to back. I don't think we saw that coming. I knew we couldn't go caution free, and it looked like the cautions were going to breed cautions there for a very brief moment, but not so much after the fact. I guess I still could if we get one to say, like, right now. Johnson underneath his teammate, Bobby Labonte. Greg Biffle down to block. Oh, Labonte got into the side of Johnson. Jimmy's just working on trying to pass as many cars as he can at this point, knowing he's not going to catch the leaders no matter what happens the rest of the race. And he hates to hang his teammate out, but Johnson wants the points. Labonte outside the top 10 right now, too. He definitely wants some points so he can try to make it to the chase. Wow, 3 wide in turns 1 and 2 between Jeff Green, Rusty Wallace, and Joe Nemechek. not drafted with one another. That's going to give Biffle a gigantic run. Now the left front tires into the red for Jimmy Johnson. And Biffle's going to pull out and try to make a move. Oh, big stack up. Nemechek and Green both throwing a block there on Biff. Johnson slides up and clears Wallace for 14th. Pretty big stack up there for Jimmy. Johnson gets the run underneath Biffle. Nemechek went high to block Biffle, and here comes Johnson with the run on the inside, and he's inside the top dozen. Clears Nemechek off the exit of turn 2 for 12th. And Jeff Green in 11th is right in front of him, but he's going to draft with him. Uncle Turner, welcome to the stream. Problem is Jeff Green is running the high side right now, and that is what Johnson wants on old tires. That left front tire should make it to the end. It went down into the red with about 15, 16 to go, but I'm pretty sure it can make it. I hope. Definitely a long way as Johnson grazes the wall again. Just can't stick the outside on old tires. Predictions video will be on the channel tomorrow. For the Cup Series race at Texas. Hopefully you enjoyed the Xfinity race today. I didn't see who won the race, though. I was at work, so I have no clue. Or if it may still be going on, I don't know. I doubt it. I think it started at 3. So the 2 Daytona dual winners earlier this season working together. That would be Jeff Green, who was the winner of race 2. Johnson won race 1. He got a shot at a top 10 finish. They catch the next group of cars ahead of him. Jeff Gordon get through the lap traffic so far. Trying to draft off of as many cars as he can as well so he can potentially try to save some gas to the end of the race. $11 laps to go at Daytona in the Pepsi 400. Oh my goodness, Jimmy almost into the wall. Left rear went red right on corner entry into turn 1. Both the tires in the red right now. On the left sides, at least for Jimmy Johnson. The main concern is the left front. Will the left front hold up to the finish? Remember, final lap, there's no cautions either, so that would... I mean, either way, tire blows. He is wrecking at these high speeds at Daytona. 10 to go, still no big one. I think Brendan Gaughan in the 77 car is the next lap car up ahead. Got to give Johnson props on these extremely old tires, as old as they have been all day long. To be able to draft with Jeff Green. bumped it just a little bit on corner entry into 3. Green's got a good draft, though, off the rookie of Brendan Gaughan. Johnson a little loose off turn 4, stays in the gas. Needs to, or he might be in danger of losing these two as they draft together now, bumper to bumper into turn 1. Green to the high side. Johnson going to shoot to the bottom. Got a nice draft off Brendan Gaughan to do so. Gaughan involved in one of the 2 cautions earlier. He's still trying to rally for a top 10. That'd be a great run for the rookie. Johnson trying to spoil him of it. Johnson have a comeback of his own. As low as 37th in the running order at one point, now up to 11th. For a bad pit strategy. And put him behind the 8 ball, but he's definitely got a shot at a top 10. Looks like they're going to catch one more car, then there's a big gap after that. They're definitely drafting away from Green. Still 21 seconds off the lead. 7 laps to go this time by for Gordon. Will Jeff Gordon make it on fuel to the end of the race? Will Dale Jr. make it? God, I was scared I was going to end up in the wall that time. It drifted up a lot earlier than what it normally did. Still stuck and was still able to stay in the gas. Keeping the momentum up. The draft behind the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. Pulls it in fast on the next car up ahead. That would be the 41 of Casey Mears. Running in 9th place. So a couple of dodges. One for Penske and one for Chip Ganassi Racing. There's the move by Johnson. Underneath Gaughan, and he makes the pass for 10th. Carries a lot of speed, though, into 3, and he brushes the wall. Has to go back down the track to try and block the 77. Now the right front's in the right after getting into the wall there. And a bit of a slide off the exit of turn 4 as well as he pulls up and blocks the 77. Trying to stay in the draft of Casey Mears. This car's not wanting to turn at all. It was bad before. It's getting worse. 5 laps to go this time by, though. Johnson trying to hold on for a top 10. Major run down the back straightaway off the back bumper of the 41. Was barely able to hold on to the share draft. Now he makes the move underneath Mears. He's not wasting any time. They're not going to catch another car in front of him, so he is racing all out at this point. Could not make the pass. Gaughan wasn't close enough to try and help with the push. Johnson with a run in the tri-oval. 5 laps to go. He's underneath Casey Mears for 9th place. Another spot ahead, too, if we get a late yellow. Johnson clears him. Has to lift, though, to keep it off the wall. And now trying to just block for his life. Maybe pray that we get a green-white checker with a late caution. Mears and Gaughan side by side for 10th, slowing each other up with the side draft. Definitely going to catch Johnson in the corners. Jimmy just cannot get the car to rotate to the bottom unless he lifts way early on entry. Wanted to stay in the gas that time. Again, the rules state 1 attempt at a green-white checker finish. The race will not end under caution either. Unless, well, I should say if the white flag is taken because there's no cautions on the final lap. Oh, wow, we got some cars pitting. Some drivers are running out of gas. We expected some to be short, but I wasn't expecting anybody to be that short. Were any of them on the lead lap, though? Gaughan and Mears stay out. I know Johnson's definitely staying out. We'll see if Johnson's going to gain any more positions in the tri-oval. 3 laps to go. He did. He gained 1 spot. So it is a fuel mileage race here at Daytona. The Pepsi 400, that weird spot that the second caution waved. Back at lap 64. Johnson staying out to pit under green. Can it miraculously work? It didn't look like it was going to. It's hard to tell if anybody else is pitting. Gordon takes the next lap at the line, 2 to go. I don't think anybody else pit that time. Maybe somebody blew an engine that gave up that spot too. That's possible. Might not have been a fuel situation. Might have been an engine that had expired. Johnson and Gaunt are pulling away from Mears, by the way. With Jimmy Johnson not being the push car. Yeah, no cautions come out on the final lap, so if we got guys running out of fuel, it could be a melee to the finish. Johnson a little loose off turn 2. Gone with a run to the high side, but he's got no help behind him to try and get the run and pass the 48. Gordon on the throttle. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go in the Pepsi 400 for Jeff Gordon. Will the leaders make it on fuel, or will they wreck if any one of them run out in front of the pack? Crazy things can happen. We have not seen the big one in this race. Half a lap left for Jeff Gordon. Into turn 3. He's got the lead, trying to make it 6 straight wins for Hendrick Motorsports. Johnson off 2, blocks gone. At the front of the field, it's Gordon. Off 4, into the tri-oval. He's got it. Jeff Gordon wins the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Johnson will hang on for 8th for a miniature comeback despite having the fastest car and by far leading the most laps. It's his teammate, Jeff Gordon, stealing one away. And it seems like when one of the 2 cars, the 48 or the 24, slip up, their teammate is there to back them up. 2 cautions total in the race today. Again, lap 55 and lap 64 were the 2 yellows. 2 hours, 20 minutes was the race time on this one with those 2 cautions. 1.6 second margin of victory. You usually don't see that at Daytona and Talladega, but because the race ended on not 1 but 2 green flag stops that spaced the field apart, 15 lead changes. Not that lot for Daytona, but nonetheless, it's Jeff Gordon getting the win. 52 laps led his own. Johnson led the most, but 52 laps were led by Gordon. It's an all-around dominating performance by Hendrick Motorsports. Gordon with the win. Dale Jr. comes up second. He led 14 laps. Ryan Newman led 6 laps, finishing third. He was the highest running Dodge. Bobby Labonte fourth, and rookie Casey Kane rounds out the top 5. Kurt Busch 6th. Kevin Harvick 7th. Jimmy Johnson 8th, leading 83 laps, just over half the race. Harvick led 2 as well. Rookie Brendan Gaughan 9th. Casey Mears rounds out the top 10, so 2 rookies in the top 9. Jeff Green led a couple laps. And we had 22 cars finish on the lead lap. Yeah, we'll see who all DNF. There was a lot. Michael Waltrip and actually Armstrong, I believe, DNF'd as well. If I'm not mistaken, because Johnson had gained a spot there with like 3 laps to go, and it's showing with 2 to go he DNF'd, so maybe he didn't. We know Michael Waltrip DNF'd. I almost said Buddy Baker. Whoever this Baker guy is, he DNF'd. Jamie McMurray DNF'd. We saw him blow an engine. McMurray actually led 1 lap as well. Brian Vickers blew an engine. Derek Cope blew an engine. Ricky Rudd blew an engine. Dale Jarrett blew an engine. Scott Riggs blew an engine. Ward Burton blew an engine. Elliott Sadler blew an engine. And Tony Stewart blew an engine on lap 6. 11 DNFs total despite only having 2 cautions. As far as the drivers involved in those accidents, they had survived. Rudd was involved in the second accident, lap 64, but he ended up blowing an engine in lap 76. I definitely remember him dropping out. Well, not only we came back, but the 3 tires we had in the red at the end of the race also made it, especially that left front. We were a little worried on whether the left front would make it to the end, but not locking the tires up under the final stop made it last. So what we would have went, how many laps on the right sides at the end of the race? Like 50, we pitted at lap 106, so 55 laps on the right sides. The left sides, you have to go back even before that. What, lap 77? Because we only pitted 4 times. We went right sides, then left sides, then right sides, and then no tires. So we only changed left sides once, and they made it from lap 77 on. All under green, too. We had 2 cautions in the first half of the race. But man, that was a wild one. Well, Jeff Gordon won the race. He was the points leader. He will expand that points lead on Johnson, even with Jimmy leading the most laps. That's unfortunate. We were so close, within 6 points of taking our first points lead of the season. And what happened? The points leader, Jeff Gordon, won the race. Crazy. It's a crazy battle for the regular season championship. And Ryan Newman finished 3rd, and he was 3rd in points coming in. He might be 2nd now. I don't know. Johnson may have dropped a spot in points even with an 8th place finish. Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland will be coming your way tomorrow night on the channel. Our start time for that race will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless the NASCAR race is not over. If the NASCAR race is not over by 7 o'clock tomorrow, then we'll end up running it a little bit later. But that's what we're planning on for tomorrow. Will be the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland. And we'll take a look at those season standings. Jeff Gordon getting his 4th win of the season. Goes from a 6-point lead to a 39-point lead over Jimmy Johnson. Expands to an 80-point lead over Ryan Newman. And a 150-point lead on Harvick. Top 4 points, still within 1 race worth of points. Harvick mathematically could take the points lead still in the next race. But Gordon expanding the lead over his teammate. And Tony Stewart DNF, he's back to 8th in points now. You better be careful. Ricky Casey came with the top 5. That's a good run for him being 9th. Matt Kenseth is up to 10th. Elliott Sadler has now blown an engine in 2 straight races. That dropped Sadler from, who was last in the regular season standings, back to 12, so he did not survive Daytona. And what I just realized, we didn't have a single big one tonight. 2 3-car accidents, that's it. No big one at Daytona tonight. That is very strange. But Kenseth now has the last spot by just 2 points over Rusty Wallace. 2 points. That's crazy. That's the final spot with 8 races to go. Just 2 points there. And then even Sadler with the DNF. I know he dropped back, but he's only 51 points back. And then Michael Waltrip is about a race worth of points back in 13th. But still another wild card race left at Watkins Glen. And we got some crown jewels coming up yet too. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Be sure to hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss the upload of the predictions video tomorrow on the channel for tomorrow's Cup race at Texas. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everybody. See you tomorrow.